time. So why are you that
So,
person's
but even
friend?
if you don't know what to tell the person, you should
Be
ask
there.
somebody, or ask somebody. You know, I say my friend has lost someone. I'm looking for the right words
What
to
can I do?
express. What can I do?
What can I
And you
do?
reach out to somebody. If you chatted me up, I'll say, okay, this. You know, and stuff like that happen. Now, I don't even want us to delve so much into emotional intelligence, but you see, the lack of communication we
Why are you
build.
running away from
It's not
them?
like I'm running away from it, but
You
you know,
wanted to pay you
these are
first.
conversations that
Okay.
you know, very very deep conversations,
Mhm.
and people should take it serious.
Mm-hmm.
Reasons why people would not really value certain things if it comes too easy, cheap, and all that.
Of course.
But this is not what we're talking about today, anyway. So anybody that wants that kind of conversation knows what to do.
Height bright.
See now let's look at it carefully. The lack of communication would always make for some of these things. And communication can either be verbal or non-verbal.
Non-verbal.
When you begin to give somebody silent attitudes, silent treatments, and all that, it's not
Makes
kind.
sense.
It's not kind. It's not kind. Talk, learn, and from all relationships, friendships, anything that must thrive, it has to have an open communication system.
Of course.
I should be able to walk up to you and say, do you have 3 minutes of your time? And do you know why we talked about emotional intelligence? Because somebody cannot be running off to work because the person is late, and you're coming to talk about something sensitive and say the person is not giving you time. That's where emotional intelligence comes in. So you need to know when to hit this thing and when not to.
Communicate.
So communication is important, but how to have this communication is also more important than what you even have to say. And because some people say, you know, I've been telling you this and I've been telling you, maybe you're not communicating the right way.
The right way.
Yes. And these are some of this.
And let me tell you, Brian, this thing applies in relationships as well.
Yeah.
You are saying, I told you that. Okay, I had a conversation with somebody one time. The person goes, my girlfriend is very stubborn. Nothing I will tell her that she will do. I say, you know that people speak different languages.
That's right.
Now you can be speaking Hausa and I'm speaking Igbo and someone else is speaking Yoruba. Unless you speak Igbo to me, I don't know what you're saying.
Even though you're talking.
Even if you're talking, I don't know what you're saying. To the other person, unless you speak Hausa to that person does not know what. Have you seen Aboki? You'll be talking like this. He'll be telling you he doesn't hear one thing of what you're saying. Unless you speak it in a language that he understands, then he can now answer you and say, "Oh, is this where you're going to? I know the place."
Good.
Right? But most of us, we speak in the language we want to understand, or we want to speak. And that's why
not attending to understanding.
Not attending to understanding. So somebody is stubborn. You have been. Then there's something you need to check. Oh, this girl is stubborn. When I tell her something, she doesn't want to do it.
How do I tell her? How have I been telling her?
How have I been telling her? What have I been doing? I feel like everybody is reachable.
That's exactly the word. Everybody's reachable.
So you keep saying this person is stubborn. You just need to speak the language that they understand, and then you be like, is it this person? This person has changed. The person didn't change. You only started to understand the ways to speak to that person or to reach that person.
Yes.
And so most times we don't even communicate in our friendships. For me, I'm very big on that. Like, if I'm mad at you, I want to tell you that I'm mad at you. Although sometimes I'll take my time before telling you. I want you to realize that you have done something. If you have not realized that, then I'll tell you, you have done something. I don't like it. You know, and that's it. It makes it easy for people to relate with people. I don't know what you're thinking per time. I don't know what's going on with you. But if you tell it to me, then I can be there for you. So you are like, you did not notice my face has been squeezed since last week. I've been frowning my face. You did not tell me anything.
And you see, this is what happens. That's why. See, this is why a lot of people are cheating.
Of course.
Because they go to this high school sweetheart. He goes to this other lady, and this lady feels like she's giving me the attention. But this person is giving you a particular level of attention, but doesn't go through any work to keep it. It's just like you now buying a new cloth, and then you went into a mall, and then you took pictures. The person who washed the cloth understands where it's stained. But you just wore the clothes and you just, took pictures, and it feels like this person admires my clothes. But there's somebody who does the work. And that's why people cheat. What people do when they cheat is that they decide that, you see that food I was supposed to cook, I'm not going to go and cook it. I'd rather go to where it has been cooked and go and eat. So that's the problem. People cheat because they are not ready to do the work. They want to go and enjoy the harvest, but not ready to do the work. So when you come to relationship coordinations and engagements, all these things we're talking about right now, some people are sounding you. Some people are like, in the whole conversation now, you're realizing why you have conflicts all this while. And it's because you're not ready to do the work. You just want somebody that understands you. The question is, how do you build the understanding? This person must understand me. He must be this. He must be that. Anybody that is my friend, people at least should know that I do this, I do that. Man, you're not talking. You're always talking to yourself and assuming you talked to me. You didn't speak nothing to me. So I cannot really assume or catch you the way you're expecting me. And sometimes, again, because of the lack of communication, some people get into the fact that, okay, you know what? Since I'm not communicating and this person is not communicating, then we're not good to be friends.
All right, people, if you're listening, you're still tuned into Eagles 102.3, your radio experience you can count on. Wait, let me remind you small.
Eagles 102.3 FM, Abuja, here to stay.
So yes, you're still tuned in to Eagles 102.3. It's your radio experience you can count on. And it's Thursday here in the studio and every other place. But we talk on a lot of things here on Thursdays. We literally talk about friendships. Today we're talking about friendships and how to, maintain valuable friendships by learning to resolve conflicts. So yes, you have a problem with your friend, you're going through something with your friend and you're quiet about it. You're not telling anybody about it. You're just expecting the person to know. We're talking about resolving conflicts. Well, it's a very good thing. Someone is right here in the studio and I drag her literally every day to join. Okay, but she's begging me to not call her name. But yes, I'm actually in the studios hiding somewhere. Anyways, so people, we have been talking about friendships and how to resolve conflicts in friendships. Now we've talked about the reasons why there are conflicts. We talked about two reasons why we have conflicts. We have one, assumptions,
yes.
And number two, we also have lack of communication. Let's have one more reason.
One more reason why there is conflict, why there will be conflict, is because most times we assume the issues. Now, I'm just giving you an instance where people come around and then instead of you to deal with the situation, you're dealing with the person. So this prolongs the issues.
Okay, instead of dealing with the situation,
with the situations.
With the person.
Now, here's the case. When I meet somebody and I'm like, why is it that you're always dirty?
Okay.
Do you understand? The situation is dirtiness. The person is now the one being attacked. So you're telling the person that the person is always dirty. So this person cannot respond to you. How does this person now tell you that I'm not dirty? And you're seeing the person. So what you're going to do is, I don't like when the whole space is dirty. Is there anything we can do to help this place to be a little bit cleaner? Can you consider more, hygiene? That is an easy way for you to help the person now see something that you're seeing and like, okay. Or you now say to the person that is you're always talking out of point. You're attacking the person, not the situation. So sometimes this is the causes of so many conflicts. Because if we are going to resolve this conflict, even in the place of resolving the conflict, okay, you say, what is the problem now? This person say she's always sounding crazy. That's not the problem. You're attacking that person, and that's what most times we therapists we see. When people come around and they're like, okay, you talk your own, this person say, and they're all attacking them. So before you know, there is a heated argument there again.
Yeah.
Why? Because we've not learned to take off the issues. Okay, fine. I like to have my trash taken, out before it starts, stink around the home. But I think you're always not prompt to that. So my own concern is, how do we make sure that this trash, because if this trash begins to stink, it affects this, it affects this, it affects this, it affects this. So let's deal with this. And this person say, okay, is that, that's what it is. I'm always not early, I wake up late, I do this, I do that. So we're now saying, okay, where is the reasonable ground for us to have this conversation and have a balance so that we can always deal with this?
And sometimes what you can do is, when you see that person is fond of leaving that trash there all the time, take it out at a particular time when that person can see you doing it regularly. And then the person goes, you this bright, why do you always like taking trash? you see that you have even avoided a conflict that should have happened.
Yeah.
You know, say, I really don't like it. It causes food flies around. It causes some kind of stink in the house, and it's not good. So that's why I don't like it. Can we be doing that?
That's easier. Unlike when you now say that I've always told you, you're
are
always
very
dirty.
you like to eat, and you know sometimes people have this problem. These things you have said now, it always happens when two adults are living together.
That's right.
Now, if I'm cooking, I have a separate nylon where I'll put
Everything that comes out of it.
anything
Trash.
that is not paper or nylon that is dry. I put it there. But anything that is dry, I can put in the regular, trash and all of that. And I have a younger sister that likes to just put everything there together and take it out there. I can have conflict with that one because she doesn't understand.
Why
she's
you're doing
younger,
that.
remember.
And then-
she doesn't understand the reason I'm doing that.
Now,
And it's because the food flies. It will stink. As long as it's paper and nylon, it can stay there for a very long time and it doesn't smell whatsoever. But once it has to do, you fish, bro. It's wrong.
There's so much. There's so much in that. And then the B part of this whole stuff I'm talking about now, when it comes to attacking an individual, is being picky. It's not everything that leads to nagging.
Of course.
See, I've seen. It's not just women that nag. There are men that nag.
Of course.
Again, you've put this in again. I thought I told you. And all the time there is this picky nature. You've come again. You are doing this. I don't even know how to pick stuff. Being too picky. When somebody's too picky, it's like you're always looking for something to talk about, even if there is nothing. You always just have to say, this one you're quiet. Why are you quiet like this? Must you be quiet? I mean, make the whole place lively. You're picking on this person and you're making this person uncomfortable. One day the person reacts in a particular way or just goes completely quiet. And then you realize that we are now having conversations, but this person has found a safe space to avoid you. And that's a very bad place to be in anything, relationship or friendship.
Anyways, this is it. These are the things now. Recall that we need to separate this thing.
Yes.
We've been talking about the things that causes conflict in friendships.
Resolving it
Now let's talk about how we can resolve it.
I like that one.
Because we can keep pointing out things that causes conflicts. There are 1,000 of them. 1,000 of them. Your personality type is very different from someone else's ordinarily. And that's why when I see couples, people get married in 1 year and they are divorced. What have you learned about the person? The person has stayed with the sibling and the mother their whole life, and you are angry that they are comfortable right there when you just met the person 1 year and you guys are living together. There's so much to learn about somebody. And even if you are married for 10, 20 years,
you still have to keep
times
learning.
change and people change with the time. So you need to learn about people, constantly. So now how can we resolve challenges?
First, to resolve conflicts in friendship, we're talking friendship. Of course, you know that friendship is the bedrock of relationship. So many people would rather build friendship. Rather build relationship, and instead of them to really put it on the foundation of friendship, they feel that it will go. If you want to resolve a conflict, first be open.
Okay.
Yes, openness is a welcoming platform. Let's be open to ourselves. Last night you spoke to me in a way that I've never heard anybody talk to me before. And if this person is open to the way the person feels about how you said it or what you said or what you did, the other person is not supposed to be at the defensive space. I'm showing how to resolve. What you do is you listen carefully, you observe, you reason with the person, then you empathize with this person that is saying this thing. You see, there are people who have conversations and they're like, I don't like the way you spoke to me or the way you did that. And this person is already, it's like the person is talking. You've heard the first part. The other part is not what you want to hear. You've I don't know how they do it in movies, but you just hear that person's voice moving, but already you're away from that place. Give that person a listening ear. Listen, empathize with this person. Let the person know that, hey, I value the fact that you are even open to express how you feel about this. Next, you ask, so how do you expect, or what would you rather want me to do in a situation like this? Because the person who hurt you is expecting something that was not done. And the person said, well, if you had done this, if you had done this, if you had done this, Now let me tell you some story. I met a man who would rather, if he gets angry, he gets to scream, shout like, ah, and that's what a lot of people say is my voice. It's not your voice, sir. You're angry. Some people say this is how my voice is. No, that's not how your voice is. And in fact, I advise everybody to learn how to, deal with situations without shouting. People don't need to hear you screaming at somebody and all of those things, because see what happens when you shout, when you scream, is that you do not allow the person to even reason with you or hear you. Now I was speaking with him. I said, see, if you want to resolve this whole thing, give yourself 5 minutes before you react to things. Give a 5 minutes consideration and react to it as though you're reacting to yourself. You'll not scream at yourself like that if you make I've done. And that way you can now easily meet that person and say, you know what, I don't like the way you kept that stuff there. If it's something you give 5 minutes, you would reconsider and see if is it worth conversation again. Because some people would leave something. Maybe this person did stuff and didn't do the dishes like you always want them to do, or they didn't keep the sponge where the sponge is supposed to be. You left the sponge there all through the day, waited for the person to come back
and carry it.
And then you now tell the person, you see this sponge that you kept here?
What?
Since morning, it's been here. And the person is now wondering, what is it with this sponge? There are people who do amazing things that you would wonder, you would be amazed, like, wow. You mean you waited all the way? So if this person traveled, you leave it there.
So
in fact, take a picture. You even take a picture and say, as I'm talking to you now, look at it. This is what it is. And you take a picture and then you're trying to describe. So I feel that openness allows us to have normal conversation. Because if you're talking to your friend, you should be open.
Of course.
I don't like the way you hit me. The way you hit me. I'm not talking about hit like punch, physical stuff. Like the way you hit me with conversation. I don't like the angle you came from. I feel this is how it should be. Now, the reservation to what I'm saying is this: when you're wrong and you're looking for how the person should have corrected you, is wrong. That's the reservation. To
that's
this.
what I'm trying to tell you.
That's
now,
the reservation to this.
You're now saying. Somebody is telling you, it's like, I picked up your shoes without letting you know. And then you're telling me, why did you take it? I came here, I want to wear it, and I did not see it. You're not telling me not to. I'm not telling you not to talk to me like that.
The way you're talking. So that's a reservation.
So you don't. There's something my mom will always say: the person who is quiet when the other person is shouting is the one who is emotionally intelligent. So that person has every right to shout back at you. But the person is just looking at you. So even if the person is wrong, when someone comes into the room and sees you shouting, they assume that you're the one who's wrong, because that person is just quiet, looking at you to just spill whatever it is you want to spill, and then when they're done, they just walk away. When you're done, they tell you sorry and they walk away. So that person is always the bigger person. Even though it can be annoying when I'm screaming at you and you're not telling me anything, what will I do with my anger? I will be so mad when I'm screaming.
And then you're not screaming back.
Scream back at me. That's how people quarrel. Come on. But, being the bigger person or being emotionally intelligent, a conversation you're not willing to have right here entails that you sometimes learn to resolve conflict. You also that you're shouting, no matter what someone did to you. Also learn how to communicate your anger or communicate
in the right
grievances to somebody. That way the person can listen. Because if I'm always coming to tell you that this how you behave, I don't like it. Even if you're telling me the truth, I don't want to hear you because you're not saying it in a way that I understand or that I'll pick up from you. Yes.
Another way again is don't try hard not to resolve conflict. Try not to resolve conflicts always when it happens.
Okay, of course.
Yeah, because sometimes it's very like, okay, you're waiting for something to happen for you to now start showing that. Always foresee that and realize that if I have this reaction right now, it may not really bear the right result.
Of course.
Allow it for a while. You can just go out and talk about it over a food. Plate of salad and all that. You say, so today we're going out. What would be the conversation? Oh well, we just want to know how better we can be better at being friends. And then like, okay, so 3 things that you do that I don't like, 4 things you do I don't like. How do you like me to? And those things you begin to bring them out. It's easier.
Makes
see
the
the man that
person
said,
want to listen. Yes, now, right. I did something to you.
Yeah.
You did not tell me anything. You now take me to go and eat. Upon the anger, I anger you. You still took me to go and eat again. Then there's no how I will not listen to you, because I'm saying, oh, this person actually is very thoughtful. You you are not angry at me to the point that you don't even want to talk. I appreciate it when people are mad at me and they walk up to me and tell me. That means, I mean, you value the relationship and I value it too. But if you're mad at me and the ordinary thing you think to do is just to keep silent and just walk away, it means that you don't value what the both of us had,
or the investment of the relationship
or the investment
over time.
of the relationship. Again, we're always saying that there's a balance. There are relationships that you should immediately walk away from.
That will be next week's.
There are some that you don't even need to have a conversation about. You need to walk away from such relationships because they will put you in trouble, or they threaten your mental health, or they put you in a position where will not favor you at all.
Up.
When you notice such relationships, what you should do is take your shoes and run.
Yeah.
But there are some that you need to talk. Oh, it's not so bad. Let's talk about it.
I always would say conversation is one of the best ways to resolve conflicts. It's not assumptions. Like in the conversation we already had about the causes, you can also find the resolve solutions. Yes, because if you see that this is what is causing it, then if you do something contrary to what is causing it, you'll be able to have what is not. You'll be able to have your solutions there. So I would say, I think we're already running out of time.
Yeah.
We're out of time completely.
Yes, but the thing is, we have a program for the next hour. So yes, luckily we have 30 minutes to spare from that hour.
Okay.
To conclude this topic, after which we head on to that program. So people, you want to stay tucked in, because right after that we're opening up the phone line so that you know you have contributions, or you have a certain buzz with your friend and you want that resolved here, and you probably need advice. That's why we have the professional, someone who is an expert in people and relationship to put you through that. Now I see your calls, I see your text messages as well. Do not go anywhere.